I primarily play on keyboard, and I've gotten questions about how to do certain inputs on keyboard. I'm going to be talking a little bit about what inputs are hard to do, how to do them, and what makes them hard. First off, tiger knee moves, and snare, really easy on a keyboard. You just do the motion, press up. So if you ever played 8 on a keyboard, you know what doing this jaguar tooth is really hard. A normal half circle motion, like what I'm doing here, isn't good enough. So the trick is the actual input requires any forward direction, exactly down, and exactly back, and then kick. When you normally do a motion on a keyboard, you end up with that, where you go from down forward to down back, and you need to make sure you hit that down without the forward or back in the way, like that. So the reason why this is because keyboard buttons aren't like arcade sticks, where they're really springy. When you press it, it kind of sticks for a second. You know, you can't really mash it nearly as easily. So you end up kind of having to slow down the input a little bit in order to do it. You can also do it from a crouching. You just go crouching, hold forward, release forward, press back. Like that. Yeah. I prefer doing it from a standing. Like that. Alright. So doing a 360 on a keyboard isn't as tricky as you might think. The only problem is that doing this as fast as you can usually doesn't work. It worked there, but normally that doesn't work. I find slowing it down a little bit, and it's basically just a half circle motion and up. That works fine for me. You can also do it forward, back, down, up, or any combination. Yeah, that wasn't quick enough. I'm not used to doing it that way. Any combination works, basically. You just need to get all 4 directions. Another way to do it is if you... I call this spinning the stick. You just kind of put a finger on each button and mash as hard as you can. And with that, you can do like an empty jump into 720, or after a focused attack, or trying to do it as a reversal. I find it easier to do 720s that way, or also just if you want to do a reversal SPD, that's easier than the more deliberate method. Super flash kick motions can be pretty hard to do on a keyboard. There are a few tricks you can do. The basic required input is you charge down back, down forward, down back, up. But what you can do is you can just hold down back, press forward, and press up, and that actually works. You can also just do it really quickly, which might work better if you're not sure. But that's actually really easy once you get used to just pressing forward, up. Do it all day. I'm going to talk briefly about mash moves. They're pretty hard to do on a keyboard. Basically, they require 5 inputs, and the last input determines what strength you get. So you can actually press all of your punch buttons together, and whatever the last one is determines the strength. So that's called pianoing. It's a little easier to cancel it if you piano it, especially for Blanca, since it's not a big deal what button you get. It's just a little bit of damage. With Honda, it really matters, and I'm not that good at that. I'm going to touch briefly on ghosting. On most keyboards, you cannot do that. Hold down the kick button and press all 3 punches. I have a Microsoft X4. It's a gaming keyboard, and it doesn't do ghosting at all. I can press as many buttons as I want, and it'll recognize them all. But the way normal keyboards are set up, unless they're specifically made for gaming, or they're really, really old, it'll only recognize certain button presses simultaneously. I had a keyboard where you can't press down, back, and A at the same time. It just won't recognize it. So I would actually really recommend a gaming keyboard if you like playing games on the keyboard. That's what they're there for.